Hello, everybody. How's it going? My name is Carter Hull. I'm back with another episode of the What Really Happened podcast. Hope you all had a fantastic New Year. With me today. I've got Nathaniel Montoya. You may know him as 3 Days Nate on Instagram and social media. But how's it going, man? How's it going? Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it. Uh, I think we tried to do this once before, but it looks like it's working a lot better now. So I'm very excited, man. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, man, I've been looking forward to it too. I mean, I think whenever we tried it, I think I was an intern at News Channel 10 doing the sports intern stuff and doing all that fun stuff, color commentating and doing all
Hmm.
that fun stuff, all that fun jazz. But we finally got the time to make out, carve out, and do this stuff. But I was like, why not better do it now? Because it feels like Cowboys are looking pretty solid. What do you think?
Oh yeah, man. Big Cowboys fan, been for a while, and this season's been looking good. First time in a long time that they've got. I think we're back to back 12-win seasons. I think I saw first time since like 95, I believe.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely a lot of things to be excited about. The NFC, I think it's very winnable. So I think if they can just put the pieces together and stay healthy, that they got a shot at going to the bowl this year, man.
I think so too. I mean, they have a pretty good start. I mean, we're 12-4. I saw that same thing that you saw, like the first 12 or certain amount of wins and it's like 90 something, which is crazy. Um, it's just I've been really it's one of those things I've been like I haven't seen a Super Bowl win in my lifetime with the Cowboys. I mean, I'm really because I'm 25 and it was like 90. I can't remember the last 95, I believe, four somewhere in there.
We just missed it, I think.
Yeah, just missed it. I was born in 87, so I was 2 years late on that one. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we got week 18 coming up as if we're this recording. But what do you think about Thursdays? The third, and we got was on Amazon Prime, do all that fun jazz.
Mhm.
Did you catch that game first? I have a feeling you did. But secondly, if you did, what do you think of the game overall?
Well, I mean, overall, I mean, a win's a win. We won by, double digits, 14 points. So, not a whole lot that I can complain about. I will say, obviously the Titans were more preparing for their week 18 battle against Jacksonville. So, I mean, you could kind of tell. No Tannehill, no Malik Willis, no Derrick Henry. So, um, I don't know. I felt like the score doesn't really reflect the game because I feel like we were really letting them hang around a little bit too much. So I would have liked to have seen a bit of a more cleaner game, but hey, man, a win's a win, so I won't take that away from them.
Not at all. I mean, the first half I kind of noticed that way with no the quarterback situation with Tennessee. They're also missing, like you said, this people, their star people, their quarterback, Tannehill and their left tackle, Taylor Lewan, all these people, all these star roles that they need. They didn't have it. Sorry, there's a motorcycle in the background. But yeah, there's a lot of these people, that they didn't normally have. And it feels like the Cowboys, they kind of, they that came through, It feels like you said the score really doesn't, show that, but I think the Cowboys were really like letting them on a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I just really want to see the cleanup of the turnovers and, on Dak's side. He's got 14 picks this season, and he obviously we all knew he missed quite a bit of time. So just really needing to clean that up a little bit going into the postseason. If we do, I mean, I think we can beat anybody. So if we don't turn the ball over, don't shoot ourselves in the foot, we can beat anybody. Philly, San Francisco, anybody, in my opinion.
I think so too. I mean, it feels like right now with the situation we're at after this, this last win we had against Tennessee, I think the situation we're in is not horrible, but it's still pretty good. I think considering, it feels like we need to win out. We need to win week 18 against the Commanders, the Washington Commanders, and I think we need Philly to lose to win the East or the whole division of NFC, right?
Yeah, we got a shot at the division, so obviously got to take care of business against Washington, which we should, but it's still an NFL side, so you still got to go out there and actually do the thing. And then as far as I know, the Eagles will be playing the Giants. Not too sure about Hurts if he's going to be in the game, but the Giants are going to be playing their starters, so that's good for us. So I mean, the Giants are going to be all in on that one. So it gives us a good shot at the division. We just got to go and take care of business on our end.
For sure. I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier already. You said Dak wasn't he missed a few games due to a hand injury. But I was wondering to know, like, you know, we had Cooper Russ at quarterback when he played Philly the first time.
Yeah.
Then we lost that one, unfortunately. And then we played him again, but they didn't have Jalen as quarterback, but we had Dak back.
Hmm.
And we won that one. So we're the scores even right now at 1-1.
Hmm.
Um, do you think if we run it back at all, do you think there's a chance with Jalen, everybody healthy in a perfect world? Do you think realistically, how do you think that's going to go?
So, I mean, obviously, two very good teams. In my opinion, the two best teams in the NFC is us and Philly.
Mhm.
No disrespect to San Francisco. Obviously, they have a very talented team. They just got a lot of injuries. I think at the end of the day, the quarterback play is what makes the difference in the playoffs. So, Dak and Jalen Hurts right now are, firing on all cylinders. So it's going to be a dogfight, man. Hopefully we'd be able to have that in Dallas if we're able to secure the division. But I fully believe that they're capable of going into Philly on the road, in January and picking
Yeah.
up a. It's just I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just like the mentality that they go into the game in. Sometimes maybe they don't like they try to play down themselves or something. But I think as long as we carry ourselves and don't make the mistakes, the penalties, the turnovers, they can go in there and win it, even with or without Jalen Hurts.
I think so too. I mean, you know, I think it's in every Cowboys fan's DNA to hate Philly and all these teams and obviously like that. But with Jalen or anything like that, I think I heard somewhere that say that they have Minshew, I believe, like their quarterback, a backup, and
Yeah.
and if I remember right, and then they said that Jalen is an MVP candidate, and it feels like with Minshew, it feels like the whole mentality having Minshew like backup. I mean, I know they've lost a couple games with Minshew, without Jalen, but yeah, he said coming in January, who knows what's going to happen, with Cowboys and Eagles, but there's a solid lot of games I think that we've been seeing out of Cowboys, their defense and anything like that. Has there been anybody on offense or defense you've been, like you said, Dak's been throwing a few interceptions here and there, but has there been anything you've seen lately that you're still surprised at, or you think someone's still being consistent, like with their playing abilities, or what, or what's up? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the offensive side, I think CD Lamb, obviously
Mm,
we put a lot of faith in him this year, trading Amari Cooper, expecting him to be that number one guy that we drafted him to become. And for the most part, he's done pretty well this season. He's definitely taken the leap, and I believe he's truly a top 10 receiver now.
yeah,
It's the same thing. It's just the consistency. He needs to give us those 100-yard games in the playoffs, and the multiple catches, close to 10 catches a game, touchdown here and there. And I mean, he obviously did a really good job against the Eagles. Really took it to one of the best corners in the game, and Darius Slay put up a big performance. So as of right now, I'm pretty pleased with the performance of CD Lamb, and I just want to see it in the postseason. So I think
I
he's
know.
capable. So that could be a big X factor for us for sure.
I'm pretty excited to see CD to play in the playoffs. It feels like you said he's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL right now for sure. He's been playing lights out lately. It seems like, it feels like he's been producing a lot of great catches when needed. Um, he and CD Lamb, CD Lamb, I think it's been one of those players that feels like he's been really consistent as of late, I think. And of course, everybody's human on that field, so you're gonna have a few mistakes here and there, but it feels like he's been close to perfect. I think is on like out of receiving core. It feels like, but I could be
Oh yeah.
totally wrong though.
Yeah, yeah. Looking at the stats, I mean, over 100 receptions, awesome. 1,300 yards,
Yeah,
8 touchdowns. So, yeah, I mean, he's obviously he's a baller, man. He's a playmaker. You put the ball in his hands, he's gonna make something happen. And I think that's what's really setting the difference with this Cowboys team as opposed to teams in the past. I think that they genuinely, like, when they go out on the field on certain weeks, they go out and they truly believe that they're the best team in the league. And I don't feel like we always have that mentality. So seeing them carry themselves like that nowadays is great. So you see that in guys like CeeDee Lamb, you see that in guys like Tony Pollard, Micah Parsons on the defensive side. They really truly want to be great and they want to be the best at their position, and they perform like that. So, as long as they execute, like I said, could lead to some playoff success. But on the other end, teams are going to be hoping the same thing. There's some ballers in Philly. There's the AJ Browns, Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts. Miles Sanders. Had a great season. So NFC's tough, man. But we'll certainly be there with them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're everybody's hoping for that their star players to come out and shine like they always want them to. But with Cowboys situation, it feels like Tony Pollard didn't shoot up this last game. He didn't really get to play, or he didn't play at all. But with him and Zeke, I mean, at the running game, we talked about CD at the pass, catching or anything like that. But with the running game, do you think like do you have a preference in who like would hold Tony versus? I mean, I'm not saying there's a Tony versus Zeke going thing on. I'm not saying that, but if you had a preference, do you have like a style you like better out of the two?
Ooh, that's a tough question because obviously they both complement each other in their own ways. Like they fill in the voids of they pick up where the other one falls short. So, obviously Zeke, big power back, he's going to get them short yard situations, those 4th and 1s, those goal line situations, getting them punched in. So obviously he's awesome for that. He's always been great for that. And I love the resurgence that he's given us this year. Zeke is probably my favorite player on the team. So seeing him have success is cool. So and he shows out every once in a while. He'll get those little 15-yard bursts every once in a while, or he'll truck someone, give him a nice stiff arm. But man, overall, Tony Pollard has just been a home run hitter this year, man. And his
Yeah.
speed and ability to catch it out of the backfield and even get into the slot receiver position just makes him just so valuable to the offense. So it's tough to say which one you'd prefer. I mean, I guess as an every down back, if we're talking today, I would probably give the edge a little bit to Tony Pollard. But man, Zeke, like I said, it's amazing for those goal line situations, and he's one of, if not the best blocking running back in the league. So that helps in definitely in the passing game. So can't
For sure.
uh, can't undermine that at all. But I guess if to answer your question, give the edge a little bit to Tony Pollard right now.
Yeah, I mean, he said Pollard's been a home run hitter. Sometimes when he grabs the ball, he goes for, you know, he'll get you a little bit more. I'm not saying Zeke can't. I'm not saying that at all. But it feels like he said some. I think that Tony, excuse me, can't speak. I'm a student. Sorry. But Tony, I feels like can really. He said when he gets the ball, he wants to. Feels like I could be totally wrong. You can tell me if I'm wrong with this, Nate. But whenever Tony gets the ball, he feels like he's really trying to prove something. Whereas
Oh,
Zeke, he can go down that, like you said, red zone, third down, four, whatever, and really give you something too. It feels like they really complement each other in different ways. So that's what I've been thinking. But I could be totally wrong. But that's what I've seen a little bit.
yeah, for sure. I think, and then like kind of going along with that is, like I said, obviously Tony Pollard has put up big numbers this year as far as yards. I mean, he's leading the team in rushing yards over Zeke on, significantly less carries. So that just shows like his yards per carry is outstanding. It reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you remember, but we had, the late Marion Barber,
Yeah,
him, and Julius Jones back in the day. It was kind of
for
a
sure.
similar
Yeah,
Arian who would come in for the later part of the game and pound in for the first downs and things like that. So that's kind of how we utilize Zeke. You have a lead, use him to chew the clock out. He's obviously going to grind for those yards and fall forward and help us win those leads. So that was kind of similar to what we used to do with Barber and Jones back in the day. So I think it's benefited us tremendously.
think so too. A lot, um, it's helped us out a lot. I believe when you need to run the ball or do anything, that situation, you said Marion Barber. I remember that. It was a good throwback too. I kind of remember that. I was like, oh yeah, they when you said that, I was
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, I forgot about those two.
awesome, man. R.I.P. my man.
I
I think
know
he passed away earlier this year, so that was real sad. But man, yeah, he was an animal.
for sure, dude. Um, Obviously in football, you can't run the ball without an O line. Um,
Mhm.
what do you think about the Cowboys O line? This first this season and second lately. I mean. what have you seen lately out of the O line? Like, what kind of product have you been seeing that they've been producing?
Yeah, that it was actually kind of exceeded my expectations, if I'm being honest. We obviously drafted Tyler Smith with our first round pick this year. Some people were a little unsure of that decision. There was a lot of rumblings that maybe there was better linemen on the board at the time. And, but, shoot, especially after the injury of Tyron Smith, he's been excellent at left tackle. Beatis holding it down at center. Zach Martin, he's going to do what he does. He's arguably the best lineman in the game. And then, and Terrence Steele on the right side was doing good too. But man, it's just unfortunate we've lost Terrence Steele for the remainder of the season. And then it looks like Beatis, if he's not going to miss the rest of the season, he's probably going to miss at least quite a bit of time. Thankfully, I think his injury wasn't as bad as we thought. I haven't seen exactly how long they think he's going to be out, but I mean, with the injuries, bringing in a guy like a Tyler Smith, he's just been so flexible, moving him from guard to tackle, just filling in those holes whenever they're needed. And then another guy like Jason Peters, the veteran,
Mm.
he's been real flexible as well, playing tackle and guard. And I believe now with Beatis out, we're gonna have McGovern moving to center. So I just really appreciate these guys, just being able to be flexible and change positions. And I really see them just working together as a unit. So I think that's why the running game has been so great this year.
I think so too, most definitely. I mean, when you said, with Steele out and McGovern playing center, I believe that, or Biotis, excuse me, right? Yeah, I'm not thinking today. I'm sorry. They're center now.
A
I
lot of
believe,
moving
with
parts.
McGovern going in. Yeah, sorry. My brain's not working. But yeah, what I was saying though, like, um, you said we didn't have someone flexible, going in and playing what needs to be played, Um, I think that really shows a lot of professionalism in a way because it feels like, you know what, I've experienced one thing over here, but you need me to go over here. I could just not do it, but this team needs it. We have a chance of, you know, greatness in playoffs, when the time comes. And, with that old line, I feels like, with Zach and Tyron on the right side now, it feels like that's crazy. I never thought I would see that ever, because it feels
I
like,
feel bad for any of those defensive ends. I got to go up against those two for
yeah,
sure.
I know. With Zach Martin, it feels like those two kind of a hot take. I mean, I want to get your take on it too. Let's go with you. I mean, I feel like Zach, with or without a championship, I believe he's a Hall of Fame guard.
Oh,
What do you think? Is that your same line of thought, or do you have a different opinion?
yeah, absolutely. Not even just coming from a Cowboys fan, man. He's definitely. I think he's going to be a first ballot, for sure. Especially if he keeps it up for a few more years, which I don't see him slowing down even in the slightest. Same with Tyron Smith, and I think
Yeah.
for sure, he's definitely got a few more years under his belt. I think they'll both be seeing Canton on their first tries whenever their time comes eventually.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, as a Cowboys fan, I just love seeing those two play, and I love it even more seeing those two play on the right side of the line. It feels like I'm so used to, you said Tyler Smith playing left tackle. I'm kind of used to the other Smith, Tyron Smith, playing the left side. But I was like, it's kind of unique, kind of different. I have to see it, and then it feels like it's been kind of helping out the run game a little bit more. It seems like, if they want to run to that right side, I feel a little bit more confident them running to the right side. Nothing towards the left side. They're all the whole line's solid, but it feels like okay, they could probably get the ball out, if they need to, the right side.
Oh yeah, for sure. And yeah, like I said, I'm not just saying that because I'm a Dallas fan. I'll give you
Nah,
Eagles fan credit too. I think Jason Kelsey will be in the hall too
yeah,
if
for
that
sure.
makes it better.
Yeah,
I
it's so
promise.
crazy. Yeah, and that's kind of crazy too. The fact that Jason Kelsey's still playing. I mean,
Yeah,
as a
vet.
Cowboys fan, you got to respect great players when you see them, and it feels like, um, seeing Jason play. He's been one of those guys who I think he's going to the Hall of Fame for sure. One day when his times come. Um, it's so crazy the fact that he's going to go Hall of Fame potential. Good. There's more than a good shot he's going to go to Hall of Fame. But just him and his brother, going to go
Oh
Hall
man.
of Fame for sure. I believe it. That's the two brother combo going into the Hall of Fame together.
Oh yeah, man, that's the dream. So that's awesome, man. That's cool that they. It was funny. I was just talking about this with a friend of mine just like yesterday or the day before. We were just talking about how the Kelsey brothers are just the top at their two positions, and they're probably, like I said, Jason's probably going to the Hall of Fame. Travis for sure. I mean, he might be at the end of the day a top three tight end at the end of the day. So, um, just definitely some talented guys out of there, and as much as it pains me to say, but yes, the Eagles can also have great players.
I know. I know it feels weird saying that because I'm a Cowboys fan, but this is pays me to say that. But Travis is playing really great ball too. But you know, just two crazy people or crazy freak brothers that are playing. Got Travis and Jason playing, but we got some. I think Cowboys got some get some good tight ends too. I think who are just kind of scrappy and who want to go out there and want to play too. Um, do you have any? Is there any tight ends out there you think that are just for us for Cowboys that are just like that really stand out, go above and beyond the rest of them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Dalton Schultz is our number one guy. I think even as a rookie, Dak has just always had a strong connection with his tight ends. He's just always had good chemistry with them. Whether, of course, having Jason Witten
Yeah,
your rookie helps. So,
yeah,
obviously him and Witten connected a lot. You saw guys like Blake Jarwin. I've seen now Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz, man, I feel like he just gets a lot of touchdowns, like in those
yeah,
goal line positions. If it's not Big Zeke, it's Dalton Schultz most of the time, I feel.
yeah,
So he's definitely taking a leap forward in his role as the number one tight end for us. And I think just another thing, back to the running game and the old line. We talk about the old line, we talk about the running backs. These tight ends, man, they're great blocking tight ends, and it's like having an extra lineman on there. And that at that point, you already have that great wall of an offensive line, and you got to deal with an extra two tight ends that are also gonna pancake you. That's insane. So shout out to the rookie Jake Ferguson.
yeah.
Uh, in there, he's got a couple of good catches, a couple of touchdowns this year, and same with the other kid, uh,
Um,
Hendershot.
yeah, Hendershot, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So they both, even though they don't get as many reps as a guy like Dalton Schultz, they do make an impact whenever they go out there.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's all about when your name gets called. And, you may not get as reps as the main guys, but when your name's called, you go out there and make a play. That's what really stands out as a young guy coming in. It feels like make your reps count. You may have minimal counts or reps, but this when you get the reps, it's really, really you need to stand out. And these, Ricky, like Kindershot, coming off and playing. When their name's called, that's really when it mattered. I think at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I'm just like because I'm pulling up the like our stats on the one here, man. I've seen all these names, and I'm like, there's just so many weapons on offense. That's why I get so upset. Like in years past, where like there's games where the offense just becomes stagnant, and I don't know if that has to do with play calling or just I don't know, just the defensive schemes that they get against us. But I mean, just looking at this offense, man, you have Dak leading the way. You got the old line. You got those three tight ends that are all capable of going down and catching a vertical. You got
Mhm.
CeeDee Lamb. You got Mike
Yeah,
Gallup. And then now you bring in a guy like T.Y. Hilton, who's,
yeah.
multiple time Pro Bowler. You still got Turpin, who can play out of the backfield in the slot. I just, man, if I was a defensive coordinator, I would be pulling my hair out the week that I have to play
I
the
know.
offense. Too
I'm
many
just
good.
happy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, yeah, I was just saying like there's just too many good players, man. I'd be pulling my hair out if I was a defensive coordinator.
I know. I'm just so happy we have Dan Quinn as ours. We don't have to go against his defense every week, or every other time. But with
Mm-hmm.
Kellen Moore, it feels like. Do you think he's been proving himself as the offensive coordinator, or do you think he has room for improvement with all these weapons? Like as you said, we have.
I've seen some improvement just as a fan this year. Obviously I'm by no means a coach or have the
Yeah,
knowledge that these coordinators and coaches have. So I'm not gonna be like I could do a better job of it, but
yeah,
you got a lot of talent on the field. I mean, there's no excuse for why they couldn't be a top five offense. And we've obviously had games where we put up a ton of points. So I can't fault the man. Don't get me wrong. There's sometimes he pulls out some trick plays that I'm scratching my head sometimes, but
Yeah,
it works. So sometimes you can't stray away too far from what works, and that's running the ball, utilizing the play action, and just getting the ball in your playmaker's hands. And I think he's done a good job of that so far.
I think so too. Do you see him going like after the season if we win or regardless what happens at the outcome of the season, like everything? Do you see him sticking around with Cowboys as the offensive coordinator, off as an offensive coordinator? There you go, I got it out. Or do you see
I
him
mean,
go somewhere else? I'm sorry.
yeah. You're thinking of maybe him going to another play, like a head coach.
Yeah, as head coach or coordinator somewhere else, or what do you think the plan is for Kellen?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'd hope that he sticks around. I think it'd be tough to find a better offensive coordinator at the moment. Now, I think it all depends on our postseason success. Honestly, obviously, if we make a run at the NFC Championship and potentially even a Super Bowl, there's a lot of teams out there looking for a head coach, and if they see that Kellen Moore is running a productive offense over here and it's leading to some success, I'm sure some teams will open up that checkbook for him. You got teams like Denver, Indianapolis. They're going to be looking for head coaches. So I wouldn't be too surprised if he does land himself a head coaching gig, pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way if we keep him or he gets a head job somewhere else, you know. But Jerry once said, my hand doesn't cramp whenever I write checks and all that kind of stuff, you know. But I wouldn't be surprised if next year, Denver opens up. We've seen Denver open up a paycheck, or a checkbook and get Russell Wilson, the
Mm.
whole hey Broncos Nation, let's ride kind of thing, But at the
And,
time, it felt like they're kind of off the rails a little bit, off their ride a little bit. But we'll get
man,
into that a little bit later. But with Kellen, it feels like he's really proved himself a little bit more this season. Like I said, I'm not a coach either way. I just am a big fan of watching football all the time. But if anything, do you think Mike McCarthy could play or could what am I trying to say here? Like could call plays if he needs to, like Jason Garrett did back in 2014?
I definitely believe he could. Obviously Dallas likes to hire from within, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they moved somebody up if that offensive coordinator position opened up. I don't know who, like off the top of my head, but I know that's something that Jerry likes to do. Um, so like I said, obviously would rather have Kellen Moore, but obviously I think without a doubt he's going to be a head coach one of these days. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's later rather than sooner. But I
Yeah.
think it's the writing for him. And then as far as McCarthy, I mean, like I said, his position it depends on the postseason success. I'm not even sure if his job is fully secure as the head coach just yet. If we experience another first round exit, who's to say that, Jerry might not make the call to a guy like a Sean Payton,
Yeah.
obviously rumblings of, wanting to come back. So it all depends on that postseason success.
Yeah. I think it's all kind of just talk about like playoffs or anything like that. You know, um, but yeah, it's kind of crazy, to see kind of what happens after, when all the dust settles. We'll kind of see what happens next, kind of thing. But on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, what have you been seeing out of defense for the Cowboys? I mean, have you seen anything that's been catching your eye, or what have you been seeing?
Yeah, I mean, is that obviously we all know it's night and day from even just 2 years ago in 2020 when we had historically the worst. I think they said it was historically the worst
Yeah.
defense. I don't know if it was just Cowboys history or NFL history, but I remember seeing the games and just wanting to shield my eyes and just like
Yeah, for
no
sure.
watch this. But so just night and day, man. And I think bringing in Dan Quinn, like you said, the multiple, schemes that he does on defense and man, just having a guy like Michael Parsons leading the way, just you could tell it makes a world of difference. He's out there, on the left side, the right side, on the line, playing linebacker, and I think that really rubs off on the rest of the defense. You see guys like a Donovan Wilson or you know I try not to butcher his name too much. Odigizua.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm the same way you are.
yeah. So definitely, I think the mentality really changed last season, and then again into this season. It's just more of the we got a lot of guys with speed on the defensive side. May not always be the most talented, but they're out there, going after the ball, not giving up on the plays, forcing turnovers, and that's what makes a good defensive unit. And I can name all the players, Micah, Diggs. Seen a lot of improvement out of the Bland,
Yeah,
that rookie corner. He's obviously made some big plays for us on the defensive end, getting interceptions and stuff. So we got some playmakers on the end. Like I said, they might not all be the best at their position, but they go out there and they play like they are.
for sure. I mean, I think it was the last game or the game before. I'm not trying to remember. We saw, I think it was the Christmas game. I could be wrong. We saw Curse really blow up that game. Or he really came out of nowhere, not nowhere, but he really sewed up that game and really proved like on the defensive side that anybody who it's kind of like a ripple effect. Anybody could just show up and be their game, and just if you're just around that kind of type of more like morale or whatever, it could be really like what's the word I'm trying to find? Like everybody wants to be good now. If this one player's playing good, why not all of us? Kind of thing. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm kind of seeing that other defense. Micah, Diggs, insert your favorite defensive player here. Anybody can have a good game, and then it just reciprocates. That's the word. It's just that kind of feeling like everybody wants to do good on defense, and hopefully, Curse went out. Unfortunately, I think one game. So. I was kind of looking forward to how we're gonna do in week 18 and moving forward, because obviously, I want the Cowboys to beat the Commanders, and go on to have the Eagles lose, but I'm not trying to have a bias here, obviously, but go Cowboys at the same time.
Exactly. No, I mean, I'll be biased on that part, definitely. But uh, yeah, man, it's like you said. I mean, I don't know if you ever watched they post these videos on YouTube called sounds from the sideline, where they
Yeah,
just kind of act up, and it's cool, man. Like I said, I don't know. I feel it feels a little bit different this year. If there's a mistake, or let's say there's a turnover on offense, Dak, he's picking up the guys. He's saying, that's on me. Let's get him on this next drive. We'll get him right back. Same with the defense. It's like, oh, you get 5 stops in a row. That's not good enough. We'll get a 6 stop. That's
yeah,
the kind of the things that they're talking about on the sidelines. So it's awesome to see that as a fan.
yeah, for sure. If you have someone like who's a veteran guy coming into the team, or even a veteran guy on the team to begin with, and he's out there like really bringing in the morale and really like, okay, guys, we need to step this up. Or I think that really sells. But when you have a young guy like Micah or someone like that, someone young and hungry, it feels like they already have that and they're really seeing it from the veteran guy. It feels like anywhere, it feels like that just boosts, the teams. I think wanting to do better. If that makes any sense at all.
No, no, for sure, no, for sure. And then it's not just one thing to say it. You got to have the guys buy into it too. So, obviously Dak's been here for a few years, so he's earned the respect of the guys in the locker room as far as being the quarterback of the team. And then Micah, it goes both ways. Micah, was just a rookie last year, but obviously he's leading that defense because he speaks with his play, and
Yeah.
obviously he's been the biggest playmaker on defense, other than maybe Diggs, but and obviously the guys are buying into what he's putting out, and it's rubbed off on everybody.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really rubbed off in a lot, from anybody who's willing to step up, it feels like, and really be, really speak up and, really, not much say it, but if you're going to say it, then really do it kind of thing. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
we've seen a lot of that lately with the Cowboys really just speaking with their actions, both with both sides of the ball, I think, though. That's what I think, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So a lot of positives to look back on as far as this regular season, but we all know that's not what matters. It matters
Yeah.
what that. So what do you think? Who do you think? Obviously, I'm rooting for Dallas to come out of the NFC, but we talked about Philly a little bit. Is there anybody else that that you think might sneak their way in, maybe make a surprising run, or might take out maybe both Dallas and Philly? What do you think? What are you leaning towards?
I don't know. It feels like in the NFC, I don't know. It feels like it's kind of crazy. I don't know. I mean, I think if we want to, we can get into our week 18 picks, but or picks and everything like that. But I don't know. It feels like it's so hard because I'm a Cowboys fan. I'll be biased a little bit this end, but I want Cowboys to win it all. But it feels like at the end of the day, it feels like there's teams up and coming, that you're just like who could resurrect themselves, and really make that push. But I think I don't know. I hate saying this because I'm a Cowboys fan, but maybe do you think Green Bay's has a chance at it or no?
Man, that's what I was about to say that, man, because I thought they were dead in the water.
Me
I
too.
was, all right, like obviously I'm not a noob. I know Aaron Rodgers is the man. You
Yeah.
know, he's Wisconsin's Jesus or whatever they say.
Yeah, for sure.
But I can't stand him. I cannot stand Aaron Rodgers. I hate his stupid face
Me
whenever he's
too.
up on the podium. I hate that they always beat Dallas. It's
Me too. I hate it. I hate it.
the bad man. And I'm not gonna lie, I liked it a little bit that they were struggling this year. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's what you get, man. Like you've been good long enough. You had enough MVPs. You got the Super Bowl. You can be bad one year and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
And now here they are, literally in control of their own destiny. They're gonna play Detroit. Is it gonna be in Lambeau? I
I
believe,
think
right?
so. I think
They're gonna
so.
play in Lambeau to go to the playoffs. So, they've been there before. They're probably going to get it done, as great as Detroit has been this year with Dan Campbell. And, they got a great story. But, obviously, I think at the end of the day, there's going to be Green Bay in there. And man, it's going to be tough if they're going to have to come into Dallas and play us. I'm going to be a little worried about that one. I'm not going to lie.
I know. I'm kind of worried too because it feels like I don't know who these football gods are, but it feels like they're really big. There must be some football gods out there who are Packers fans because it feels like they're really. I thought they were like dead in the water. I thought as a Cowboys fan,
Yeah.
our main worry was going to be just Philly, maybe in the NFC, or Tampa, or not even. I don't know about Tampa, but
Yeah.
it feels like this Philly. That's about it. We're chasing Philly at this moment, but um, I was like, oh man, Green Bay has a chance. Dang it. I was really kicking myself. I was like, man, this stinks. 'Cause it feels like I don't want to have to worry about Philly and Green Bay, in our conference, in the NFC. But I was really worried. I was like, Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Ever since Brett Favre left, and it feels like this Aaron Rodgers has lived in my head rent free sometimes every time we played him.
Exactly. Yeah, it's such a weird situation because I got the standings pulled up here, and so the first six have been secured. The Giants clinched the wild card spot with their win last week. So there's three teams up for grabs. We got Seattle, Detroit, and Green Bay fighting for that last seed. Technically, right now, Seattle is that seventh seed, but they need to win and they need Green Bay to lose. So I was confused by that because
Yeah.
apparently I technically Detroit is above Green Bay because they beat them earlier in the year. And then but Green Bay, if they win, they'll obviously jump Detroit.
Yeah.
And then if they end up with the same record as Seattle because they have a better conference record, they would also jump Seattle. So all they have to do is win against Detroit, whereas Detroit, they need to obviously win and have Seattle lose, I believe. And then Seattle needs to win and have Green Bay lose. So, man, there's
Yeah.
some big games for that because the Seattle's going to play the Rams, who unfortunately they're the defending champs, but they struggled mightily this year and they're probably gonna win that game. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a Seattle or a Green Bay. It just depends, who wins that Green Bay Detroit game.
For sure. I mean, it's just so crazy with that area because it feels like I don't know. You never know what's gonna happen. I mean, the standings are just so different, so weird. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I'm looking forward to see how this week 18 is going to go. Because it feels like that this last week 18, it feels like it's really going to answer some questions. No, it's not going to answer all the questions, but it's going to answer a lot more questions if that makes sense for us.
Yeah.
See how everything kind of finalizes and everything like that. But I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to, no, there's no more, I think, Thursday night football on Amazon Prime or anything like that. I think it's just Saturday, Sunday, and everything like that. But um, I mean, are you ready to pick these 18 week this week 18 picks?
Let's do it, man. I'm told. Let's do it. I'm ready to look at the numbers.
Okay, cool. Me too. So this Saturday we have KC in the Las Vegas Raiders. Kind of interesting game, you know. Who are you looking for in this game?
Well, I think the obvious choice here would be Kansas City. Obviously they have a little bit more to play for. The Raiders have been officially eliminated as of last week, but I don't know. The performance they put up against San Francisco, it seems like they have a little bit of something. Obviously the drama with Derek Carr getting benched, but they really went out there and performed really well against arguably one of the better teams in the league. And maybe if I don't know if they're just wanting to play for their coach, Josh McDaniels, or if I mean, it's a pride thing, of course. These are professional ball players; they're not going to go out and lay down. So divisional game, I think it'll be good. I think it'll also depend a lot on what happens tonight with the Buffalo and Cincinnati game. But my pick, if I had to stay safe, gotta go with Kansas City.
I think so too. I mean, that's kind of my pick early on. I was kind of going through. I was like, okay, there's some interesting stuff going on this last week. Um, this really doesn't matter for if your teams are clinched already. This last week doesn't really matter, but it does at the end. Sometimes, but I guess stats don't still count. But my pick is KC too. I mean, Raiders are kind of you're already dead. They're not going to have a playoff run or anything like that. But um, I think KC. I think that makes sense too. At the end of the day,
Oh yeah,
Uh,
for sure. And I think I'm looking at at least as far as what ESPN has here, they have Kansas City as a 9.5 point favorite. So you think they cover that? You think they beat Vegas by 10 on the road?
I think so. I think they can do that with all the weapons they have. They've got to. I think they have the with KC. I think with Travis, with everybody. I think they really could do it. I think they could cover. What do you think?
For sure. I think it'll be tough. Division games is tough to win by that many points, especially on the road. But I'll tell you what. I'll pick Kansas City to win, but I think it'll be a close one. I think it'll be a little closer than we expect. I say Kansas City by 4. So I think they win, but don't quite cover that spread.
Okay, sounds good. And then the second, there's only two games on Saturday. The second game is Tennessee and Jacksonville. Obviously the whole drama with Jacksonville with Urban Meyer and anything like that, but make sure to keep your finger guns away. But and I'm just kidding. No,
Yeah,
Tennessee and
yeah.
Jacksonville. I mean, who do you got in that? That's kind of an interesting game, I think.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no, that's the good one. Obviously, it's win or go home for either one. Winner is going to take the AFC South, and just a lot of question marks for me. I didn't happen to check if they announced who's going to be starting for the Tennessee that day. I don't know if they'll be running out Willis or Joshua Dobbs, which is who they were running out with Dallas. And I mean, quite honestly, Joshua Dobbs did not do too bad against Dallas. Considering it was his career start. I noticed that at least what some of the announcers were saying that the ball was coming out a lot quicker with Dobbs at the offense. So maybe they seen some things that they liked and might roll him back again for this game against Jacksonville. So it's going to be a good one, man, because it's two young teams, two good coaches. I think Doug Peterson's a great coach. He's
yeah.
done a great Jacksonville, developing them into what they are right now. And then, of course, Mike Vrabel, in my opinion, one of the better coaches in the league in general. So I think that one's gonna be a real good one. I'm very excited for that game. My gut feeling tells me Jacksonville. I would like to see Trevor Lawrence in the postseason. I think that would be good for the NFL. So, obviously he was a big star at Clemson, and he's starting to show some signs of success here in the NFL. He definitely cooked up Dallas whenever
Yeah.
whenever we had. So, I could see something similar in this game. So, my pick, I'm going to go ahead and say I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars in a tight game, 20-14.
2014.
Mm-hmm.
I think going into this, I didn't know. And then I started thinking when you started talking, I'm like, maybe Tennessee, but I realized they don't have some of their, players back. I don't know. The injuries started piling up. So for a second there, I thought Tennessee. But I think Jackson, I think kind of, gosh, I think at the end of the day, Jacksonville is going to win that one. I think you said it's going to be close. I think you said 20-14, right?
Yeah, I don't know. They could potentially score some more points, but when it's a little bit of a tense Week 18 game, divisional battle, everything's on the line. You could see some more mistakes, so that's why I'm saying maybe a little bit low scoring. Might be even closer to that like 17-13 range in my opinion, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Jacksonville might edge them out, and like I said, it comes down to the quarterback at the end of the day. I think Jacksonville will just
Yeah.
have the better.
I think Jacksonville is gonna. I think I'm gonna pick Jacksonville for this game too. I'm gonna go with you, but do you happen to have do you have the spread or anything like that pulled up at all or no?
So yeah, I mean, going off of what it says here, they got the spread right now -6.5 for
Oh, okay.
Jackson at home, and they are at home. So I don't know if we mentioned that Jacksonville is playing at home. So that leans towards them a little bit more. So I could see them, winning by that touchdown. I think it'll be definitely be like a one score game. So whether or not it be, that 4 to 7 point range, I'm not too sure. As a bet, if I was a betting man, I might stay off that one just because of
Yeah.
the unpredictability in a divisional game like that. But nah, I think it's going to be a good one, man. It's good. It's going to be good for
Yeah.
football fans.
I think a nice close hit or excuse me, can't speak. Net game, a close net game is going to be like that. I think it's really going to be close and um yeah, I think it's going to be really close. I'm thinking 16-10, but I could be wrong.
I could see that. I could see that for sure.
So, okay, that's Saturday's slate, but then Sunday, that's we're gonna have football overload this on Sunday. And then we got Arizona and 49ers. What's going to be crazy game, I think, a little bit. Got one good defense and coming into, with the 49ers and everything like that. I mean, that's going to be a crazy game. What do you think?
Man, because obviously it would help Dallas in the situation if San
Yeah.
Francisco lose. But I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Unfortunately, Cardinals lost their star quarterback, Kyler Murray, a couple weeks ago. So he
Yeah.
obviously be available. Who's running? Who's even running quarterback for Arizona right now? Is it Colt McCoy? Is that?
That sounds right, but I could be wrong. I think at the end
Yeah,
of the
I mean, whoever it is, I don't think that they're going to be able to sneak a win off a San Francisco. I mean, hopefully we'll get a little lucky. Like I said, it's a divisional game. That's what I love about Week 18. These are all divisional games. No matter if your season's over, if you're 1-10 or whatever, you want to beat your divisional rival. So Arizona's going to come in. They're not going to lay down. They're professionals at the end of the day. So they're going to try to take it to San Francisco, but San Francisco also knows what they're playing for. They're playing for a potential number one seed, and I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the brakes off Arizona.
yeah.
So as of right now, I see they got a 2 touchdown spread in favor of San Francisco right now. I could see them winning by 3-4 touchdowns. So I would say
Easy.
I'd say a 31-10 game. It might be in the works for this one, honestly.
Yeah, I think the Niners are going to go into this too because it feels like I love Colt McCoy. I'm a big UT Texas Longhorns fan, so obviously it feels like
A little throwback.
yeah. So I think McCoy, I think had a lot of good memories for UT, but I think I got to pick the Niners in this one. Yeah, as much as it kills me, I think but I think they're going to go in there. It's just so hard, I think to know Kyler Murray, stuff like that. I think it just boom, like boom, boom, boom. Everything just adds up. It feels like it's just an easy pick for the Niners to win this game.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then I don't know. It's going to be such a wide spread of a game point wise. I just um yeah, I think it's going to be easy. Like you said, 3-4 possession lead. I think it'll be lucky. I think if I don't know. I don't think I see Arizona getting more
Yeah,
than
and
10 points in this game.
San Francisco 7-1 at home this year. So, and they're
7-1,
at
yeah.
so. I would be very, very, very surprised if Arizona could pull that off. But hey, I've seen crazier. So,
Yeah.
definitely. I don't know if you're at all familiar. I don't even know what year it was. It was early 2000s. This same Cardinals team actually spoiled some playoff hopes for a Minnesota
Oh
Vikings
yeah.
team to get into the playoffs. I don't know if you've ever seen that
Yeah.
clip. They had Chris Carter and Randy Moss, and
Yeah.
Pepper and all them, and them Cardinals didn't even have the new jerseys yet, man. I think they were like 3-12 that year, and they won on the final play and spoiled that Vikings team's dreams of making the postseason. So, they could be playing spoilers again, and even better against their rival, the 49ers. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
Yeah, that's this is a crazy callback. I remember you said that. I remember that. But yeah, um, such a wild game. He knows.
Yeah.
Wild things have been happening. You said Minnesota, and that made me think about the Minneapolis Miracle.
I mean,
Sorry, say that again. I'm sorry.
then maybe they'll run Larry Fitzgerald out there one last time and pull off the ball.
Yeah, for sure. Hit him on the get him on the line real quick and be like, hey, can you come back? But yeah, um, yeah, I think 49ers are gonna win that. I think that's pretty easy pick. Next we got the Browns and Steelers. When I was looking at the schedule, there's a couple games on here that I really like. It could go either way. I don't know. This one was one of those games like I don't know. Um, because obviously Big Ben is not in Pittsburgh anymore. Um, I don't know. It feels like this one is one of those ones I don't know.
Yeah. This is just gonna be one of those games. Unfortunately, both teams are they're out of the playoff race now. I think Pittsburgh. Oh well, no. Pittsburgh's still alive, right?
I think they are, yeah.
They won. I don't know why I thought they lost. So never mind. Yeah, this actually does have some implications, I believe. Let me. I didn't look at the standings too much for the AFC, but I mean, I do know that Cleveland did get eliminated though, so they're not playing for anything but pride,
Yeah.
and but I mean that is one of the bigger rivalries in the NFL, so they're gonna want to win that one. They're not gonna want to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially recently. They've had a lot of beef, with Myles Garrett situation and everything. So
Yeah.
Pittsburgh gets help. It looks like they're just behind New England and Miami. So I think they would need both of those teams to lose and for them to win. So, obviously Pittsburgh's going to have a whole lot to play for, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland comes out and spoils that for them. They do have Deshaun Watson playing now. You still got a guy like Amari Cooper out on the outside
Yeah.
playing. Amari Cooper, that
Sure.
guy.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a tough one. For my pick though, even though Pittsburgh has something to play for, I think the Browns will play spoilers. I think they're gonna want to go into the offseason with some momentum. Look towards the next year, get a full season with Deshaun Watson. So I'm gonna pick the Browns to go on the road and beat Pittsburgh. I'll give um I'll give them a wild one. I'll give you a wild one. 25-24. Cleveland wins on a 2-point conversion in the final seconds.
25-24. Okay.
That's my pick.
Yeah.
And just breaks the heart of Steelers fans all over the world.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I felt like when you said that, I was on the fence about Pittsburgh because it feels like it's going to be one of those. I don't know. I think, see, I knew this was going to come and I was kind of like waiting. I don't know why, but I think you're right with Amarty and Deshaun and all those guys. I think they have some good to utilize the weapons as they need to. And their defense has not realized that. I forgot they have Myles Garrett still. I forgot about all that. That's totally on me. Um, I think I'm gonna go with Cleveland, my final choice. And
All
then I
right.
think I want to go. You said 25-24. Is that what you said your final was? You're guessing?
5-24, just because they go for two at the end. They go for the win. So
I think I want to go. It's going to be different. I think it's going to be in the 20s for sure. I think for both teams. I think it's going to be 27-24 for a field goal.
okay, yeah. And looking at the spread, that's pretty much they got it pretty much at an even line. They technically have Pittsburgh -3, but they are at home, so you know what they say the -3. They usually give 3 points to the home team, so pretty much an even game. So it could go either way.
Yeah. And then next we got Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals. I think when I was looking at this, I think, you know, Bengals have been playing really good. I think there's something's telling me when I was seeing this, I was like, I think Bengals could. I don't know. Like with Lamar Jackson, you never know. but I think something's telling me to go with Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, this one has a lot of impact on tonight's game because obviously, if Cincinnati wins tonight against Buffalo, they will officially clinch the division. So, wouldn't be a whole lot for Baltimore to play for at that point, other than seeding. That's if they're even like have any seeding replications. But yeah, I know Cincinnati does play Buffalo tonight. Both of them are still in the hunt for that number one seed. So they're both going to be definitely playing this. So that's a tough one, man. No Lamar Jackson back yet for Baltimore. Not sure if he'll be
Yeah,
back for Week 18. I'm sure if there's not much to play for, they might just sit him out anyway.
yeah,
Uh, so whether or not Cincinnati wins tonight, I think they'll come out with the victory at home. Um, but Baltimore, John Harbaugh on the other side, he's gonna make sure his guys are ready. Even with a guy like Tyler Huntley, he knows the Ravens system really well. He fits for what they're trying to do. Obviously, not as talented as Lamar Jackson, but he does what they ask him to do, and I think they'll still play a pretty good game. So I'll give the edge to Cincinnati. I'll give them a 24-16. I think it'll be relatively close throughout most of the game, but I think the Bengals at the end of the day will probably come out with the win, whether or not they win tonight or not.
yeah. I think that sounds like a good score. I think I'll say that too. I mean, Bengals, I think are. I'll give them the side edge. I think too in that. I think since he's going to come out with a W on that. And then next is going to be a fun game. I think for both of us. We got the Cowboys and the Commies, the Commanders. We got I think it's in Washington D.C. Nation's capital. Obviously, I think I'm going to pick the Cowboys in this one. I know we're the away team. Everything probably people are going to want us like, of course, or why, blah blah blah. But I think we got to stay true to my Cowboys. I think we're going to win this one.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and shock the world and say that yeah, I'm picking Dallas.
Yeah, I think this is an easy pick for both of us. I mean,
I would have
we
liked if Washington had something to play for. I kind of was hoping they were going to win against Cleveland last week, so they had a little something to play for against us. But as of right now, they got us as a -4 favorite on the road. So I mean, Washington's played really well this year.
yeah,
I don't know if they're going to start Wentz. He played very poorly this past week, so they might roll out Tyler Heineke. I kind of hope not because I think he's better than Wentz right now, at least as far as what Washington is trying to do. So, at the end of the day, we still need the win, whether or not we're going to be fighting for that division title or that number one seed. We can't be worrying about that. I don't think they just need to focus on getting the win, having that momentum going into the postseason. 3 wins to end the season. That nobody's going to take that and not be appreciative of that. So I'm hoping we take care of business. I could see. I don't know. I could see us putting up a lot of points. I could also see
yeah.
a more defensive battle, two good defenses. They got Chase Young back on Washington, so for scores, I'll say a good. I'll give him some respect. I'll give him a 21-17. Dallas.
21-17. Yeah, that'd be. I think that'd be good. I think it could go either way. I think we could go in there, blow the doors out on them, but I could also see Washington put up a good fight against us defensively. And I think that would be a good score. 21-17 for sure. I could see that either way. I could go either way. I could swing either way and see how that goes. But yeah. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to that game, obviously. And then next but not least, we got the Lions and the Packers.
This is when I'll be having my eye on for sure.
Me too. I think, with, you know, MCDC Motor City Dan Campbell, I think with that we're gonna see him come in there with a game plan. I'm looking to see how that game plan is gonna be. But I think with the Packers finally coming, back up out of the grave, I think I really could see because I think everybody was counting out the Packers. They were writing their obituary already, but I think they're really coming back already and really proving people wrong. So as painful as that may sound for me, as me saying that too, but I don't know. I think the Packers win this one.
Yeah, I'm obviously, I'm gonna be rooting a little bit for Detroit, not just because I hate or have a little disdain for
Yeah.
Green Bay. I shouldn't say hate, but
Yeah.
um, love the Lions, man. I've always had a sweet spot for them, even as a kid. They're just the lovable losers of the NFL at times.
Yeah.
So to see them, be able to have a chance, going into Lambeau, they're one of their oldest rivals, the Green Bay Packers, on the road, with Dan Campbell, with a chance at the playoffs, both of them playing for a chance at the playoffs. I don't think it gets any bigger than that for Detroit. So obviously, this is probably the one of the biggest games they've had in recent memory. So I think they're gonna come out and surprise some people and put up a good performance and I hate to say it, I think they're going to come out, get the lead, have a pretty good lead throughout the end, but Aaron Rodgers is going to pull out the discount double check at the very end of the
Yeah,
game and sneak away with the win. I'm picking Green Bay 19-16 uh, towards the end of the game. I think Green Bay pulls off a comeback and secures that last playoff spot.
I could see that too. I mean, you know, I don't know. I doubt he's ever going to see this, but I watch the Pat McAfee show all the time. There's a big
Yes.
Lions fan on there, Evan Foxy. If you ever sees this video out there on Twitter or anywhere on YouTube, Foxy, I know these are the brand new Lions, but we're gonna see this game. That's the old Lions, but I think we're gonna just break the hearts. I think you're gonna have their heart broken after this game. Um, I think you're gonna come in strong, but I think the Packers after halftime are gonna come in and really wipe the floor with the Lions. As much as it hurts me to say that, because he said they're the lovable losers. Megatron
Yeah.
was a beast for them forever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the Packers are gonna pull away a little bit after when it's all said and done.
Yeah, it pains me to say, but we'll see. Hopefully they prove me wrong. I would love to see Detroit win.
For sure. Next, we got Pats and the Bills. Pretty interesting game. Uh, Bill Belichick, he's 90,000 years old and he's still calling great games in his career. But we still got the Bills, Josh Allen still doing his thing, and everybody up in Buffalo. I think people are choosing. I think it's. I want to say it's an easy decision, but at the same time, I think I don't know. I may be wrong in saying that. I think the I might pick might be the Bills. I think slightly the Bills.
Yeah, yeah. This should be a good one. Patriots still in the playoff hunt. They do got something to play for in this situation. I believe they are currently they're actually holding on to that seventh seed. So I believe if they win, that should secure them a wild card spot. So they're going to be going all out. They're going to be going all out for that
For
one.
sure.
But I think we're gonna have to go with Buffalo on this one, especially they're gonna be playing for that first seed still. They've been pushed around by the Patriots and Bill Belichick for the past 20 years, and I think that they feel like it's time for some payback. So I
Sure.
think whether or not they're able to get that first seed or not, I don't think they would find a lot of pleasure in eliminating the New England Patriots by
Yeah.
beating Week 18. So I'm going to pick the Buffalo Bills, and I think it's going to look a little uglier than people might think. I think Buffalo might go in there with their motivation and beat them pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and say 31-14 Buffalo.
Yeah. 31-14. I think this is going to be one of those high scoring games, I think, too, for Buffalo only. I mean, Bills are going to, or the Pats, excuse me, are going to get on the scoreboard for sure, but I think Bills are going to really find their confidence and really keep scoring. Mac Jones, he's a good quarterback, great guy, and anything like that, but he's still young. I think he's still got time in his career to really be, what I think people thought of Tom Brady early in his career, but better. Not better, but like as far as the early stages of his career. Um, but yeah, I think Buffalo's going to come in there. I think just Josh Allen has too much confidence right now in his career just to not losing the situation. That makes any sense.
Yeah, another thing. I mean, they just play really well at home. Only one loss so far at home this year, so I could see them, rolling into the postseason with a big win.
Yeah. And then after this, we got the Rams and the Seahawks. Um, Interesting game. I'm glad to watch this one too. Because Geno Smith has been surprising me. I don't know about a lot of people, but he's been surprising me quite a bit lately this season. Um, but yeah, I think Rams are out of it, obviously, but I think they've got Rams. It would, but if this was last season, obviously I think I would say Rams if this is last season. That would be my pick. But I think right now, slightly, I'll pick the Seahawks, I think, to win this game.
Yeah, for sure. Rams just been they've been hit with the injury bug real bad this year with Stafford and Cooper Cup. But so I'm going to go ahead and say Seattle as well. I think we talked about it a little earlier. They are going to need some help to try to get into the postseason. So I think they're going to take care of business on their end.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I think they'll be right outside if Green Bay is able to pull it off. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Seattle. Seattle on this one. I think it'll be a close game. Two great coaches again. You got Sean McVay on one side, Pete Carroll on the other side. So they're going to have a chess battle as far as that. But I'm going to say this Seahawks edge them out, and I'm going to go and say 20-16. Seattle wins it.
Yeah. I was thinking that too when you were talking. I think it's going to be a close game for sure. I mean, LA's got Cooper Cup still and everything like that, but they don't have that quarterback. I think they're just missing quarterback. They're missing Matthew Stafford, I think. If I'm right, if I may be missing anybody else, but I think Seahawks are just edge them out a little bit, just slightly, but I think they'll edge it out. They'll find the way to, if
Yeah,
there's a will, there's a way, they'll find it.
yeah. Rams also 1-6 on the road, so they've had a tough time playing away from SoFi this year. So
Yeah.
I say we'll go ahead and say 1-7 now because
One and
we'll
seven, yeah.
battle.
Just put let's rip the band-aid off right now. I think 1 and 7. But next we got Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Um, you know, I mentioned Tom Brady earlier. Tampa, man, they're kind of different. I mean, going into the season, that's this whole season for Tampa. It seems like it's been kind of like a soap opera a little bit in a way, if you think about it. Tom missing, a little bit of preseason and then coming kind of late. He's had this, or, the whole situation with him and his, ex-wife and anything like that, and having to play football, everything. I think it's easy to say. I think it's just been kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know. Do you think any of that's weighing on Tom? Week 18?
Has to. It has to. Obviously he's a professional. He's one of the greatest athletes of all time. So he's going to go out there and take care of business at the end of the day. I don't think Tampa has anything at all to play for. They've already secured the division, and they're not moving up any of the seeds or anything like that. So I
Yeah,
think if they haven't made it official yet, I'm pretty sure they're going to be sitting out their starters for this one. And then just keeping everybody healthy. You don't want to get an injury in a meaningless game. But as far as what I expect from them in the playoffs, I mean, it really just depends on like the matchups. Tom Brady obviously can still go out and do the thing. Maybe not as efficiently as in years past. This is kind of the first year I've seen age catch up to him a little bit. He looks mortal for once.
yeah, for sure. The
reminds
first
me
time
of
it's go ahead.
reminds me of Tim Duncan towards the end of his career. He obviously Old Man Riverwalk was out there. He would do this thing in the fourth quarter, but he could tell he was getting a little older. So I think that's what's happening to Tom. Not sure if he'll be back next year. Hopefully he does. So I mean, but at the end of the day, in the playoffs in the NFL, unlike baseball and basketball, it's a one game deal. All you got to do is play one good game, and you're moving on to the next round. And Tampa is one of those teams that I would not want to face. So they definitely still have potential to make a championship run when you have Tom Brady on your team.
For sure. I think, it's going to be a close game, like I don't know. I say it's a close game. I don't know for sure. I mean, I think, you know, with Tampa, he said he's finally looked like he's mortal for once in this part of his career, You mentioned, Tim Duncan and all that. Same thing. I mean, even I'm a Lakers fan, so even with Kobe, we saw that, with his Achilles heel and all that. But yeah, with Tampa, I don't know. Um, are you picking Tampa or Atlanta in this one?
You know what? I think for this last game, I don't expect Tampa to play a whole lot of their players. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Atlanta. I think they'll come out and win. They are at home. Can't hate winning against a division opponent. I do like the young kid, Ritter, I believe his name is,
Yeah.
quarterback for Atlanta. So I think it's a good time for him to get some reps and some real game experience against the top level team, even though they might not be playing their guys. It's a good experience for him. So I think Atlanta's going to come out with a little bit more energy, and I think that they'll come out with the dub in that one. I'm gonna go ahead and say I think there'll be a little bit more points than we think in this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and say 27-20 Atlanta.
27. Yeah. I can see that. I can see that kind of game at Atlanta. I think I want to go with Atlanta in this one too, just because we're seeing Tom as more of a, I want to use it, more of a mortal because, he doesn't have Gronk or anything like he did last few years of his career or anything like that. But still, I think Atlanta's going to pull out a little bit ahead of them. Um, yeah. So next we have the Jets and the Dolphins. I think, this is going to be one of those games that, I don't know. Do you think the Dolphins are coming back with Tua or no?
So that's tough, man, because obviously Tua is having his concussion problems, and then now Teddy Bridgewater, I
Yeah.
believe they broke his finger in this last game, so they'll be playing their third string quarterback in this one.
Wow. Yeah.
Jets as well got eliminated last week. But Robert Sala, that head coach with New York, he does a good job of motivating his guys, and I feel like they're really behind him. And they turned around the season pretty well this year. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the Jets have been the laughing stock of the league the past few years, and the fact that they were 7-9 and potentially might end with 8 wins if they're able to pull off this victory against Miami, I think deserves a lot of recognition considering all the drama they've had at quarterback with the Zach Wilson and Mike White situation. But it just really depends on who's running out there to play quarterback for Miami. If they can somehow get Tua or Teddy Bridgewater out there, I think they'll come up with the victory. If not, it's going to be a lot closer. It's going to be a lot tougher of a matchup. But for right now, I think I'd have to say Miami. And just overall, I think they just have the better team. They got Hill, Waddle, um, Mike Getsetsky.
Yeah. Kaczynski, yeah.
So they got a lot of weapons on offense. Even with a third stringer, I think you could do some damage with that. So I'm gonna say Miami sneaks out a win here, and I'll give them a 26-20 victory, and then that'll secure them that final playoff spot if it corresponds with my other pick of New England losing. So I think Miami will get that final playoff spot in the AFC.
Yeah. For sure. I think Miami, I think they, that might be a good pick still, even with the third string. I think even if they get two or first, second string quarterback out there, they still might be better. They said, they have what more weapons I think than Jets may have slightly. You know, what's the quarterback's name for Jets? Is it Zach White, right? White?
Uh, Zach Wilson and then Mike
Zach
White.
Wilson. I always get their names mixed up. Sorry. Zach Wilson. Gosh, I'm a stooge.
Zach White.
Zach White. Sorry, yeah, I'm a stooge. Sorry. That tells you how much I pay attention to New York Jets.
Yeah. Mike
Uh,
White, former
Mike
Dallas Cowboys.
White.
Yeah,
Mike
so
White. That's who I was getting mixed up with. Um, Zach White. What? It's like a generic name, man.
right.
Um, sorry, but sorry if there's anybody out there named Zach White watching this, but uh, yeah. So I think just for that whole thing alone, I think I'm picking Miami. Just slightly, but yeah, slightly.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
think Miami will come up with that one.
yeah, for sure. And then I think after that we got Panthers and the Saints. Pretty interesting game, I think. I don't think are Panthers still in it, or they're not. Are they completely defeated or
Yeah,
no? They did.
week they unfortunately got eliminated. And
Yeah.
Tampa officially clinched the division. So
Yeah.
both these teams have been eliminated. They were both in it last week, but they both got eliminated. So they're just kind of playing for pride at this point.
Mm,
Saints running out there with Andy Dalton. Panthers running out there with Aaron Donald. So the battle of the redheads.
for sure.
Uh, but it'll be a good one, man. Divisional games are always fun. So I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Carolina, just because they do have, I can't think of his name right now, but they do have that interim head coach right now. And I
Yeah.
think that they're going to be, they're trying to get him the job. So I think they're gonna, try to go out there and win and end the season on a high note. Panthers always one of those weird teams that they're just always kind of in that 6-10, 7-9 range where it's just like they're good. Like they come to town, they might beat you. They'll beat up on the worst team, but they just haven't had quite like the elite success like they had back when like Cam Newton was in his prime and things like that. So hopefully that's kind of got them stuck in that football purgatory the last couple of years. But I think if they can pull off a win, secure their coach's job for next season, they might have some things to look forward to.
You know what? I think Carolina would be a good pick. They're done they're done after this week, so I don't think they're not moving on, obviously. But
Yeah.
Andy Dalton, I don't know. He played for us, and I still have a soft spot for him. I don't know. That's why it's making it so hard. I think like whenever Dak went down, I think he played good for us for a little bit. So I mean,
He had his moments, yeah.
I think I think I'll go with Carolina. That's it. I'm sealing it in. I'll
All
go with
right.
Carolina this one too. Sorry, I
Well,
was like, I didn't know going into this one. I felt like Andy Dalton, he may not be like the greatest or anything like that, but he like the
yeah,
MVP or anything like that.
they've both
What's
been real quiet this year because obviously no Drew Brees anymore for the Saints. Jameis Winston went down with an injury. No more Sean Payton.
yeah,
Carolina, no Matt Rule, no Cam Newton, anybody like that. Well, they had Baker there for a little bit, so that was kind of
yeah,
interesting from Baker out there. But
yeah.
yeah, they both kind of had the same type of year. So unfortunately, no postseason for either one, but still should be a good game.
I think he will too. I think Carolina, I think is gonna pull it out somehow. But yeah, I think Carolina, and then after that, we got um LA Chargers and the Broncos.
Oh no,
Um
Broncos.
I know. So I think I gotta pick the Chargers just because I don't know. I don't know. They're for the Broncos. It feels like they're dead already this season. I think it's just easy to pick the Chargers in this one.
Yeah, I have to say Chargers, and it sucks, man, because I actually was rooting for Denver to be good. I don't know. I've always kind of
Yeah,
liked Denver, and I'm a big fan of Russell Wilson and what he did in Seattle. So I was hoping that they were going to be good, and I don't know. It felt like they were on prime time every other week, and it was just terrible games. So I just got annoyed by them by now. But
yeah.
we'll see. Maybe they'll turn it around next year. But yeah, I'd have to pick the Chargers. The Chargers are still looking for they've clinched the wild card. They just they might be trying to get that higher seed. So trying to avoid playing like a Buffalo or a Cincinnati in the first round. I think they'll definitely go out there and beat Denver.
For sure. I think this Broncos nation is like, the ride's not completely dead overall, but I think if they do it right. I think the Broncos could be if they get the right tools around Russell Wilson. I think they could turn it around somehow. I think in the future if they do it right.
Yeah, they just had some bad luck this year. I think first year head coach and Russell Wilson. Obviously his talent is there, but I just think the team didn't really buy into to what he was doing, and I think at least from what I've heard, like from other sports analysts and like people within the organization, they say that he's not quite what's the word? Like he's not quite socially aware that like what
Yeah.
he's not like people don't I don't know
Yeah.
like he
I know what
actually
you're trying to
believes
say. Yeah.
and he thinks like they're cool and like people, he doesn't understand that people thinks he's kind of weird.
Yeah,
So
he's little half a different beat. His like he goes kind of the beat of his own drum a little bit different. His beats a little bit more differently. But I know you're trying to say. But yeah, the Broncos just fired their coach, I believe, not long ago. So
Daniel Hackett.
yeah, they're going out for they're obviously a new coach soon. So who knows? I think only Tom could tell what's going to happen next for the Broncos. Um,
Definitely be
new
interesting.
quarterback, new coach. And Jerry Judy, it's hard to say, he's still a great wide receiver. So who knows? There's still something there. So I'm not saying the Broncos are completely defeated, but I feel like there's need something new. I think in this offseason they're going to take that time to really realize what they
Yeah,
need.
they just need to figure it out for themselves what needs to be done because obviously the talent is there. I mean Russell Wilson's still a great quarterback no matter what people say. They got good
Yeah,
receiving. They just gotta build on it. So
for sure. And then next we got the Texans and the Colts.
ooh.
Um, I don't think I don't think either one of these teams are in the playoffs, are they?
No, no, yeah, I think I'd have to say Colts just because I think the Texans are playing more for to get that first overall pick. So
Yeah.
uh, they'll be, obviously they're going to try, but try.
Yeah. Yeah, they're there. That's it.
Yeah, so I'd probably see Indianapolis coming out with a win. Definitely their season as well didn't play out how they expected. The Indianapolis is an organization that expects to be in the postseason and compete for championships, and that just didn't happen this year. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be good for them to end on a high note, and I think it'd be good for Houston too. Hopefully they'll end up with that number one seed, and potentially get a guy like a Bryce Young in there, and maybe start seeing the signs of a solid rebuild over here in Houston. So having another good team in Texas, I can't hate on that.
No, for sure. I mean, who knows? They called Jim Mersh. Jim Mercy called up Jeff Saturday to be an interim coach. So who knows of what that could lead to? I mean, I don't know if that's even going to lead to anything next season with Jeff Saturday or not. But who knows if they've? I still wonder if Jim Mercy's got the owner or general manager got the owner. Still has a Peyton Manning's number and is like, hey, is there any way you can suit up
Well,
this weekend, please? Or something like that, or call Jeff
I,
Saturday or not called
I'm
uh
sure there'll be Derek
Gary
Carr's down.
Brackett.
So.
Like, what's he say? I'm sorry.
That's my early favorite of the Derek Carr sweepstakes since got quarterbacks every year. So they might be shooting for Derek Carr.
I know that's what I've been seeing too. Is like some Derek Carr memes. Already photo stopped with some couple Colts jerseys on. Who knows? The Colts might be that new team where just
Yeah.
They have Matt Ryan, they have Derek, they might have Derek Carr. Who knows? They
Yeah.
had Carson Wentz. Just a
Mm-hmm.
revolving door of quarterbacks.
Yeah, so I could see that. Honestly, I wouldn't mind that. I think that'd be a pretty good fit for him. I think the Raiders are stupid for wanting to trade him away, but
Yeah.
obviously I don't know if they'll keep him in the AFC, but there's not a lot of teams looking for quarterbacks nowadays. So, you got
Sure.
obviously Colts maybe. You might throw the Jets in there a little bit if they don't plan on moving from Zach Wilson. Washington maybe potentially. So, not a whole lot of teams that either have an established quarterback or at least have somebody young that they're trying to develop. So,
Sure. 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 Last but not least, we got the Giants and the Eagles.
ooh,
That's gonna
okay.
be a good game I need to watch. Just these
But
were all easy to pick. These were all easy for me to pick. I'm picking the Giants solely just because I'm a Cowboys fan. I know I'm wanting to win the division here. I want a home field advantage here. This is what I'm looking for. So I want the Eagles to lose. I'm picking the Giants here.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to say the same. If I had to put money on it, I guess I might lean a little bit more towards Philly. But since
Yeah.
I'm just speaking, and I'm speaking from the heart a little bit, I'm gonna have to say that the Giants. I don't think they're gonna be moving up in any standings or anything like that. But Brian Dable has done a good job. Leading that team. Nobody expected them to be in the postseason at all, especially as Daniel Jones is their quarterback. If you had told me that the Giants would be in the playoffs and Daniel Jones pretty much played every game, I would have said no way.
Yeah.
so, so building a good culture there. Obviously Giants and Eagles, one of the top rivalries in the NFL, so they're going to try to go in there and win. And I think they might get it done. So I think it'll be a close game. It all depends a lot on if Jalen Hurts is going to play or not. Obviously, that'll make a big difference. So, but I'll say the Giants sneak it out. I say a 28-24 victory for the Giants.
For sure. I think I can see that too. I mean, really, like I said, for betting money, I would have to choose Philly, but I can never choose for Philly ever. I think it's just a have to thing for me. But just for this game personally, for personal reasons, because I'm a Cowboys fan, I gotta choose the Giants, which is
Yeah.
even odd in itself saying that I'm gonna cheer for the Giants. But yeah, I'm picking the Giants all the way in this game. But
Yeah.
uh, Yeah, that's a lot of good picks. A lot of good. There's some games I'm really looking forward to. Got Cowboys, Commanders, Packers, Lions, Giants, Eagles. There's some other games in there that we talked about, Niners and Cardinals, but there's some other games in there that are really good. Looking forward to watch, and some others that I might skim and see maybe a little bit of. But yeah,
Yeah, week 18 or this usually week 17. Now it's week 18.
yeah,
Final of the season, you never know what's gonna happen. Teams playing that are playing for something, going against teams that aren't playing for something, and sometimes they pull off those upsets. This is where we see the most upsets in a lot of times. So, nobody's safe. Nobody is safe in week 18.
no, we're not at all. I mean, nobody say like you said, you never know what's happening. This is football, just because the Eagles, for example, have one of the best records in football. Or at one point they had one of the best records in football. At one point, they might lose. Someone beat their first loss was like to somebody completely random. I remember that. I forgot who it
Yeah,
was, but they beat
lost.
them. And it's like,
Yeah,
who was that?
Washington. Eagles
Washington,
lost
right?
the first game. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like completely. I was like, Washington knocked them off. They're the first ones. What? I mean, the football is sports. That's sports for you. That's the best way to explain it. It's like you never know what's going to happen.
Oh,
Anything's up for grabs.
absolutely. Yeah, man. Should be fun. It's gonna be awesome.
Should
I
be
can't
fun.
wait.
Now looking forward to it. I mean, Nate, Nathaniel, thank you for so much, dude. I mean, I'm looking forward to this game. Thank you for hopping on the podcast and talking sports and doing some picks.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you having me. Hopefully, maybe we can do this again. Maybe if Dallas makes a deep little playoff run, might have to hop on this again and talk about that.
Yeah, for sure, man. We got to do it for sure. If they make a deep playoff run, I'll definitely have you on. We got to talk about more what's going on, stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Well, appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
for sure.
said, Nathaniel, you can check me out at 3 Days Nate on Instagram. So any sports fans, we love talking sports on Instagram. So definitely come check us out.
Awesome. Thank you so much again. And everybody go follow Nate, 3 Days Nate. And yeah, thank you all for everybody coming on. So Nate, see ya. Thanks.
Take it easy, brother.
Yeah, when I blow up, I'ma soar high like Peter Pan. In real life, be living out my dreams. If I'm waking up, it's in a foreign land. Whole wrist covered up in ice. Dealership, never ask the price. I hit the molly ball with my dogs. Yeah, I swipe it once without thinking twice. Cause this what I was made for.